Hi, good morning. So here's the new most awaited video regarding the new drugs of COVID-19. New drugs of COVID-19 are in the form of monoclonal antibodies and some oral drugs. We all know we all fought the old waves with many set of drugs, many set of trials. Some of them were midway broken down, not approved, and were not rejected from the treatment of COVID-19. Here, recently, we have some new set of drugs. FDA has approved this. This video will be mainly explaining to you regarding the monoclonal antibodies and about the oral antivirals which is being approved by FDA very recently. This will tell you about the pregnancy guidelines, the lactation guidelines, who is indicated, who is not indicated, what are the dosage, what are the formulation of these drugs. So we started with many drugs like HCQ, vitamin C, zinc, etc., which are not at all currently approved for the use of the drug use for COVID-19 infection. What still holds regarding the classical treatment available in the recommendation of COVID-19 treatment is oxygen, antipyretics, steroids, low molecular weight heparin. Remdesivir may or may not be used. Tocilizumab can be used in severe diseases with high interleukin 6 and not responding to steroids. Treatment of secondary infection. We had these treatments for COVID-19 which are still holding true. Recently, what is new is monoclonal antibodies like casirivimab, imdivimab, sotrovimab, oral antiviral agent very recently approved and came into the US markets and yet to come into Indian market is molnupiravir. Then we have Paxlovid, the oral antiviral agents. So we will be discussing regarding these new drugs in this section of videos. First of all, to the monoclonal antibodies. The monoclonal antibodies are released in the trade name, in the marketing name of two drugs. One is the Rigenco, which came initially, and Roche, which is what we are having in India. Monoclonal antibody, Roche and Rigenco. Roche and Rigenco, they are drugs, they are trade names of two combination drugs, that is casirivimab and imdivimab. They are the combination of casirivimab and imdivimab. Rigenco is one company and Roche is other company which is available in India. These monoclonal antibodies, they bind to the spike protein receptor binding domain. They are the receptor binding domain of SARS-CoV virus. When these binds into the receptor binding domain, this binding prevents the last step, the prevents or blocks the binding of COVID virus into the ACE receptors of our human cells. Thereby, they prevents the entry of these viruses into the human body or human cells. This is about the microbiological effect of this monoclonal antibody. They have an antiviral activity through natural killer cells mediated immunity like antibody dependent cell mediated cytotoxicity or macrophages mediated phagocytosis and even prevents the entry of the viruses into the cell. One thing to understand is there is no complement mediated effect for these drugs, that is C3, C1, C5 etc. mediated effect is not there. These are the graphs of effect of this monoclonal antibody when used. Red is the standard dose, that is 600 plus 600, 1.2 grams standard dose, and green is the double dose, that is 1.2 plus 1.2, 2.4 gram. When used, when compared to the placebo, we find that the severity of infection have been reduced in patient within 15 days of time. This shows when monoclonal antibody Rigenco is being used for post-exposure prophylaxis, we find that the chances of getting the infection in 30 days time has been reduced significantly in these patients. So how does this drug comes? Rigenco or Roche? FDA approves the release of drugs either as a combination, that means Rigenco containing both casirivimab plus imdivimab, 600 mg of casirivimab plus 600 mg of imdivimab as a single vial of 10 ml. FDA also approves that separately casirivimab and separately imdivimab can be released. But most commonly what is available is single vial consisting of both casirivimab and imdivimab. There are vials which comes with 1.2 grams of casirivimab and 1.2 grams of imdivimab too. Indications. What are the indications is very important. These can be used for patients with mild to moderate COVID-19 infection who are at risk of progression to severe disease. Risk of progression means in the next slide I will be telling you who are the candidates who are high risk candidates. Only if they are having mild or moderate infection it can be used. Secondly, FDA also approves for the use for post-exposure prophylaxis of COVID-19 infection. Once you get exposed to a patient with positive COVID-19, if you are a high-risk candidate, you can take this monoclonal antibody for preventing an infection in you. What to understand is, even if you take COVID-19 vaccine, you can take this monoclonal antibodies if you are high-risk candidates. But if you take monoclonal antibodies, you should defer COVID-19 vaccine up to at least 90 days. That will be ideal. But this is a controversial point. I have put some references where this point is being valid. These are the list of high-risk eligible patients for REGEN-COV monoclonal antibody. These can be pediatric patients who are more than 12 years of age, weighing more than 40 kg, and adult population with a long set of indications of high risk. So go through these lists before you start the treatment for your patients. Only those patients who are at high risk like diabetes, CKD, CLD, sickle cell anemia, neurodevelopmental disorders or pregnancy, even pregnancy, I will talk about pregnancy also, can use these drugs. This is not at all authorized if your patient is O2 dependent and admitted for severe COVID as per the guidelines of severe COVID which I discussed in my previous video. If you haven't seen that, please do see that. And who require oxygen therapy should not get these drugs administered. Secondly, patients who already have an underlying lung disease requiring chronic oxygen therapy should be deferred from these drugs because studies phase 3 trials have shown that when these drugs are given for patients who are on O2 therapy, the outcome of the patients is very poor when compared with the placebo control groups. Secondly, about post-exposure prophylaxis. Post-exposure prophylaxis can be given for adult and pediatrics who are more than 12 years and more than 40 kg, who are not fully vaccinated. What is fully vaccinated? That means they are at least 2 weeks after the second dose is known as fully vaccinated, or who are vaccinated but we do not expect a full amount of immunity to be mounted in them. That means they will be immunosuppressed candidates, or they may be on high dose steroids or immunosuppressive therapies for malignancies or for other diseases like nephrotic syndrome, who are on immunosuppression. Third, these people should have in close contact with an infected COVID-19 patient, or they should have continual contact with infected COVID-19 people, satisfying the CDC criteria for close contact. So these patients can take a post-exposure prophylaxis provided they are high-risk candidates. What is close contact? Close contact as per CDC means 6 feet, within 6 feet for 15 minutes or more. If you are staying with a patient for treatment, for care, for something else, it is known as close contact with an infected individuals. So high risk people who are satisfying the eligibility for post-exposure prophylaxis, who had one close contact or who may have more close contact, can take post-exposure prophylaxis with monoclonal antibody REGEN-COV as per FDA EU guidelines. I have attached the guidelines in the link in the description. What is to note is post-exposure prophylaxis is never a substitution for your vaccination, and the FDA do not allow pre-exposure prophylaxis with REGEN-COV. That is, you cannot take pre-exposure prophylaxis. What is the dose? This is very important. Dose for treatment is, FDA has approved only for one dose, that is a single 600 mg plus 600 mg of drug. That is, the vial comes as 1.2 grams. It is a combination of 600 mg casirivimab plus 600 mg imdevimab. FDA has approved for single administration of this drug as subcutaneous or slow IV infusion. About post-exposure prophylaxis, the first dose is same, IV or subcutaneous, 600 mg, 600 mg, casirivimab plus imdevimab can be given subcutaneous or IV. Repeat dose. Patients can take repeat dose if you are going to have an ongoing exposure for more than 4 weeks. Repeat dose can be taken for post-exposure prophylaxis for high-risk people. The dose is 300 mg of casirivimab plus 300 mg of imdevimab. That means half the dose can be taken every 4 weeks till your continual exposure stops. Dose adjustment. There is no dose adjustment for pregnancy, no dose adjustment for renal disease, kidney disease, or for children more than 40 kg. What are the possible adverse effects? As of now, there are a large number of trials which have run. Till date, there are no major hepatic or renal uh, complications documented. But what you should understand is cardiogenicity, genotoxicity or genetic toxicity or reproductive toxicity, these toxicity have not been documented or studied till date. What is important is, as you all know, monoclonal antibodies, previous monoclonal antibodies which we are using, some of them are having some amount of cardiotoxicity and genetic toxicity or immunomodulatory toxicities. But about this Regencov, since studies are minimal, these long-term toxicity has not been documented. It might be documented in the future. At that time, FDA may withdraw the drug. As of now, no toxicity regarding these genetic cardiotoxicity or reproductive toxicity has been studied or documented. In pregnancy too, these drug can be used, monoclonal antibody can be used. Same like you give monoclonal IVIG for your rabies patients in pregnancy. So similarly, you can give this monoclonal antibody in pregnancy provided you must weigh the risk benefit ratio. Because pregnancy per se, if you're going to get a severe COVID-19 infection, you may be predisposed to many pregnancy complications like preeclampsia, hypertension, IUGR, decreased flow, diastolic notching. All those complications can come. So if you're going to weigh the risk of the patient, your obstetrician, if she allows, you can take the monoclonal antibodies for preventing infection. What is clinical worsening after Regencov? For mild and moderate cases, you who are eligible for the drug, you have given the monoclonal antibodies. You expect it to be subsided, the disease to be subsided within 15 days time. But if your presentation is going to increase, per se, it can either be due to monoclonal antibody per se, studies having proved that, or it can be a worsening of your COVID-19 infection. So in any patients, if you find a clinical worsening, take to the hospital and admit him as a candidate of severe COVID-19 and treat accordingly after clinical evaluation. Pregnancy and lactation can be used weighing the potential side effects. These are some guidelines that FDA gives regarding the use in pregnancy and lactation. Weighing the potential benefit over side effect, you can give the drug because per se COVID itself is a high risk in case of pregnancy because COVID can bring many complications in pregnancy like rupture of membrane, eclampsia, preterm, IUGR, diastolic notching, etc. So you have to take a decision wisely. And this is about lactation. You can give Regencov during lactation and breastfeeding can be continued. What are the probable antiviral resistance? This is something very important. We know Regencov is going to act against the spike protein receptor binding domain, and in the end it is going to prevent the entry into the cells by blocking AC inhibitor receptor binding. So we know if there is a mutation in the spike protein in the virus, there is going to be a resistance. And so here we see for Omicron variant, this is very important, for Omicron variant, Regencov or Roche is not going to work. That is very important FDA given guidelines. The second monoclonal antibody that we will discuss today is sotrovimab. Sotrovimab is a single IV infusion of 500 mg of sotrovimab. It should be given like Regencov within 7 to 10 days. The most highlight feature of sotrovimab when compared to Regencov is sotrovimab works against Omicron. All other features, indication, contraindications, everything is same that of Regencov, but sotrovimab works against Omicron. Why? The reason is this is also a monoclonal antibody which binds to spike protein receptor binding domain, but this doesn't work by preventing binding to AC inhibitor receptor binding, but it works by some unexplained reasons. It prevents the entry of the virus. So sotrovimab is working against Omicron variants and mutation of spike proteins. And all of the features, all of the guidelines, all of the recommendations are same as that of Regencov. One other drug which is available is Eli that is a combination of bamlanivimab and etesevimab, 700 mg plus 700 mg. Being not available, I won't discuss about it much. This table is very important table guideline given by FDA and about treatment criteria. What is highlight to treat is notice this is the effect of available monoclonal antibodies against different variants of COVID-19. So what you can see is only sotrovimab is working against Omicron variants. All other drugs, casirivimab, Eli Lilly, everything, they do not work against Omicron. Only sotrovimab is going to work against Omicron. But I told you about three monoclonal antibodies. But in India, what is approved as on yesterday, that is 4th of 2022, what is approved is only Regencov or Roche. Roche is the Indian trade name available and Regencov is the international trade name available. That is combination of casirivimab 600 mg plus imdevimab 600 mg. That is the only drug which is available as monoclonal antibody as of yesterday in India. So we discussed regarding the monoclonal antibodies. Here comes the most awaited drug, that is the oral drug, that is molnupiravir. Molnupiravir. We know in the first wave of COVID, we had many oral antivirals which was tried. Flavipiravir, Ritonavir, many drugs were tried, failed and discarded from the market. And now we have the new drug which is approved by FDA and even released by FDA and recently approved in India too, that is molnupiravir. What you should understand about molnupiravir? Molnupiravir is a prodrug of the active content N-hydroxycysteine, that is NHC. How does it work? It doesn't work by binding to the spike protein, but it works by inhibiting the RNA activity of SARS-CoV. And what it happens is it binds to the RNA polymerase, the genetic part of the virus by incorporating to the guanosine and adenosine. Thereby, it forms a false multiplication of the virus and forming some errors in the viral genome. Thus, the viral genome gets destroyed and it prevents the entry into the cell by destruction of the viral genome. Molnupiravir. The active form is N-hydroxycysteine NHC. So there are many trials. If you search to the PubMed, you will see that there are more than 74 trials regarding molnupiravir and COVID. And FDA has approved it after the phase 2 trials. And this is one of the largest trials, that is MOVe-OUT trial regarding molnupiravir, which was conducted in many countries, 170 plus planned states, regarding the outcome of patients who were treated with molnupiravir. So this is one of the journal which is published in NGEM regarding the oral treatment of COVID-19 in non-hospitalized patients with molnupiravir and their severity progression. So after many of the trials, this is a plot very rightly showing you the percentage of patients who are free from hospitalizations when you are going to treat the patients with molnupiravir. When compared with placebo, we find that significantly the percentage of patients has been reduced when treated with molnupiravir. So molnupiravir, what are the indications? Like your monoclonal antibodies, molnupiravir can also be used only in patients who are having mild to moderate COVID-19 infection. Severe cases, it cannot be used. And this should be used in patients who are at risk of progression to severe COVID. Severe COVID means hospitalization and death, who are at risk. And thirdly, for whom alternative drugs for treatment is not available. Not otherwise, molnupiravir cannot be used. This is the most important slide you should understand. It cannot be used in patients who are hospitalized, that is severe COVID, who have this cannot be used for more than 5 days. Third, it cannot be used as pre-exposure or post-exposure prophylaxis. Like Regencov, it cannot be used. Unlike Regencov, it cannot be used as post-exposure prophylaxis. It cannot be also used for pre-exposure prophylaxis. The important thing is Regencov could be used in pediatrics of 12 years or above, but molnupiravir as of now it cannot be used for children less than 18 years of age because it has shown that it may affect the bone and cartilage formation, it will be affected. And finally, pregnancy is an absolute contraindication for molnupiravir. While lactation it can be used, but pregnancy it cannot be used. This is very important. What is the dose? The dose is 800 mg. It comes as capsules of 200 mg. So 4 capsules into 2 times. 800 mg twice daily for 5 days should be used. If the patient is breastfeeding, in breastfeeding the drug can be used, but during the breastfeeding time, if you are using the drug, the mother should be advised not to breastfeed the child till 4 days after the last dose. That means till 9th day, they should be advised no breastfeeding. This is some trial showing molnupiravir is going to be launched in India too with a cost of 649 rupees per se. This is an article from latest, that is, see, 5th January 2022. Yesterday's news only, Indian TV only. So that ends about molnupiravir. The another drug which FDA approved orally is Paxlovid. I am not explaining much about this because it is not available in India. It is a combination of nirmatrelvir and ritonavir. In previous COVID trials, we tried ritonavir and we had abandoned that. But again, ritonavir, combination of ritonavir plus antiviral nirmatrelvir has come back to the FDA approval. It also inhibits the SARS-CoV-2 proteases. I will not be explaining much regarding this because it has not come to Indian markets. So, as on today, what are the new drugs which we have in India are? One is your monoclonal antibody casmivimab and imdevimab. That is, in India the trade name is Roche, and the oral drug which is yet to be available, which will be available soon, that is molnupiravir. So let me conclude by saying the very famous biblical quoting is, for everything there is a time, there is a season, for everything under the heaven there is a season. So we started with many drugs, we discarded that, there was a season for discarding, and now I have explained to you regarding many monoclonal antibodies and oral drug. One thing I should again reassure and tell you, as of now, these are the guidelines which tells you to use. But future, it might change, we might discard these drugs because anything about COVID-19 is incomplete. As of now, these are the guidelines which should be chosen wisely rather than giving it for every patient and misusing the drug. We should be right in choosing our choice for patient. In the description, I have added the link to my Google Drive, which will give you the entire study sheets regarding PDFs regarding these drugs, so that before initiation of the drug, if you feel worth, you can go through them. Thank you. God bless you all.